Hello viewers, in this video we are going to discuss the important announcement made in the Union Budget 24-25. The Finance Minister has made an important announcement to encourage employment generation. This particular announcement is linked with PM Package Employment Link Incentive ELI. In this announcement, three special schemes were announced under Vikshit Bharat with the focus to encourage employment in formal sector, encourage individuals to take up employment, and also encourage industry to employ people effectively. So these three schemes, namely scheme A, B and C, are just charted out here under the budget key proposals. Scheme A is with respect to the first time employers in a formal sector. Scheme B is to create a job under manufacturing sector, first time employment. Scheme C is a general increase in enrollment in the formal sector. So these three schemes are very important. Let's discuss one by one. Scheme A, first time employment in formal sector. So what is the incentive? The government proposes to pay up to ₹15,000 in 3 installments, say ₹5,000 per month, to whom as a direct benefit transfer to the person who is taking up employment for the first time in a formal sector. What is formal sector? A sector which has a proper registration with respect to EPFO. In this context, it is being discussed. Is it available for every employee? Yes, subject to a gross salary drawn per month is around 1 lakh, up to 1 lakh rupees. So how this scheme works? Example, A is seeking an employment for the first time in his life. Okay, it's first time in his life he is getting into employment. It's a formal employment, right? That's more important. I have highlighted here. Okay, means that industry is covered under EPF Act. Okay, and secures a job for a salary, say about 20,000 rupees in an establishment XYZ. Okay, he will receive ₹5,000 per month through direct transfer for the next 3 months. So in all, 15,000 rupees will be given as an incentive for it. That is first scheme A. Second scheme, first time employment in manufacturing sector. So incentive is paid both to the employer as well as employee towards EPFO contribution. For how many years? 4 years. For whom? New entrant, first time employment taking up person in the manufacturing sector. So how this scheme works? Suppose A is seeking an employment for the first time in his life in a formal sector. He secures a job for ₹20,000, formal manufacturing sector, which is covered under EPF Act. Contribution towards EPF, both employee and employer, say about 3,600 rupees. That is 12% on 15,000. So 12% on 15,000 will works out to 1,800 rupees. That is the employee share, and another 12% equally by contributed by the employer. Another on 15,000 it is 1,800 rupees. So into 2. So they in all 3,600 rupees is being borne by the central government for the next How many years? 4 years. Okay. The third scheme is for employer. Support is given to the employer. How? The government will reimburse the EPFO contribution of employer. Employer has to make a contribution towards EPFO, no, when an employee is in the formal sector. So up to 3,000 for all newly hired for next 2 years. So how this scheme works? For example, XYZ establishment which is in formal sector being covered under EPFO adds new employee in the next 2 years. In that case, the EPF share will be reimbursed for how many years? For 2 years. So let us chart these 3 schemes in a tabulation and see how it benefits. So scheme A talks about first time employment in a formal sector. It can be a manufacturing or a service industry or any industry. So we will say it as an establishment, in which after April 2024 a person takes up an employment for the first time in his life in this formal sector, and he draws a salary of 20,000 or up to 1 lakh is allowed, right? In that case, whether it is option establishment, also he gets 5,000 rupees for next 3 months, that is April to June. Manufacturing sector also, he will get an incentive of 5,000 rupees by direct transfer from April to June. This is an example I have just given. Okay. Next we will look at the second scheme, scheme B, PF contribution on rupees 15,000 per month. So what is the benefit? Who is getting this benefit? This is available only in the manufacturing sector. So employee joining in an establishment non-manufacturing sector, there is no incentive. Whereas in manufacturing sector, the employee's contribution of EPF and employer contribution of EPF is reimbursed for 4 years. The final scheme is the new employees. Say you add 10 employees in an organization, same XYZ adds 10 employees in April, new. Say it had only 50 employees, it adds another 10 employees. So adding to the workforce. Not that you add 50, then you lost 10, then you bring 10, it's not an adding up. You should add up in such a way the net labor force has increased from previous month to current month. So in that case, the increased new employment, to that extent, both the shops and establishment or manufacturing industry will get an incentive of employer share of contribution to the extent of 3,000 rupees per new employee added, right? And that is available up to March, that is 2 years, March 2026. I am sure it is clear, and this particular initiative by the Government of India will definitely help in generating employment and encouraging the workforce to get into the formal sector and avail the benefit. Thank you. We'll see you in another video.